Hey guys, it's me, Poppy Rain, here, and today we're going to be reading The Willowdale Handcar, or by Edward Gorge, or The Return of the Black Doll. One summer afternoon in Willowdale, Edna, Harry, and Sam wandered down to the railroad station to see if anything was doing. There was nothing on the platform but some empty crates. "Look," said Henry, pointing to a handcar on the siding. "Let's take it and go for a ride." Soon they were flying along the track at great rate. Little Gray Sprocket, playing in a homemade mud puddle, watched them go by with longing. At Bogus Corners, the next town down the line, they stopped to buy soda pop and ginger snaps at Mr. Quible's store. How are things over in Willowdale?" he asked. "Dull," they said. A few minutes after they were on their way again, they saw a house burning down in a field. "Whoo," said Sam. "The engines will never be in time to save it." The next morning, they wrote postcards to everybody, telling them what they were doing, and didn't know exactly when they would be back. At 10:17, the Turnip Valley Express rushed past. A frantic face was pressed against a window of the parlor car. "Gracias," said Edna. "I believe that was Nellie Film. We were chums at Miss Underfoot's seminary. I wonder what can have been the matter." In Chutney Falls, they haunted up the cemetery and peered at the tombstones of Harry's mother's family. Later, they ran into Nellie's beau, Dick Hammerclaw, the local telegraph operator. He asked if they'd seen her. She seemed upset. Near Grisselberg, they saw a palatial mansion on a bluff. "That's old Altudo," said Sam. "The home of Titus W. Blotter, the financier. I saw a picture in a magazine." Several days later, a touring car drew up alongside them. The driver called out something unintelligible concerning Dick before he shot away out of sight. An undated fragment of the Willowdale Triangle they found caught in a tie informed them that wobbling rock had finally fallen on a family having a picnic. In Dog Ear Junction, they paid call to Edna's cousins, the Zefclags. He showed them a few of the prizes from his collection of over 7,000 glass telephone pole incubators. The following week, Mount Smith came into view in the distance. Dark clouds were piling up behind it. During the thunderstorm that ensued, A flash of lightning revealed a figure creeping up the embankment. Some months went by, and still they had not returned to Willowdale. They visited the ruins of the Crampton Vinegar Works, which had been destroyed by a mysterious explosion that preceding fall. In Wonksville, they rescued an infant who was hanging from a hook intended for mailbags. From the trestle over Peevish Gorge, they spied the wreck of a touring car at the bottom. "I don't see Dick's friend anywhere," said Harry. In Violet Springs, they learned that Miss Regira Dowdy was not receiving visitors, but through the window they were able to see the desk on which she wrote her poems. As they were going along the edge of the Sagmush River, they passed a man in a canoe. "If I'm not mistaken," said Edna, "he was lurking inside the vinegar works." Between West Elbow and Penetriel, they almost ran over someone who was tied to the tracks. It proved to be Nellie. Despite her entreaties, she insisted on being left at the first grade crossing, where she got on a bicycle and rode away. That evening, they attended a baked bean supper at the Half-Bath Methodist Church. "They're all right," said Sam, "but they're not a patch on Mrs. Umaloot's back home." A week later, they noticed someone who might be Nellie walking in the grounds of the Weedhaven Laughing Academy. On Sunday afternoon, they saw Titus W. Blotter in his short sleeves plunging into the great trackless swamp. In Hickaborough, they counted the cannonballs in the pyramids on the courthouse lawn. At sunset, they entered a tunnel in the Iron Hills and did not come out the other end. The end.